I learned for preparing for business day is how we can use our 21st century skills to help us with completing tasks. The four 20th century skills are create, communicate, collaborate, connect. We use these skills within online tools with wikis, kid blogs, Google Docs, and many more. These skills help me as a learner to guide me when online and at school, and especially at home. One takeaway from participating in Business Day has been given the chance to get a real life experience within trying to get a job or building a business. I can use these skills in the future to help me.
What I learned from this experience is that I learned how to create a stuffy, and I learned how to be a great entrepreneur and a philanthropist. What I'm going to take away from this experience is that when I apply for a job, I'm going to have a great posture, make good eye contact, and have a good handshake.
One thing I learned most in the preparation of Business Day 2015 is that leadership and teamwork are two great skills to have. I learned that sometimes I need to step up as a leader when my company needs help. For example, when a project needs to be handed in soon and it's incomplete. I think it is best to stand up and help get it done. I also believe that working together as a team will make our company be more successful. Also, this way more opportunities could be presented to our company. One takeaway I got from learning experiences for Business Day 2015 is doing a good job interview. I practice and use many strategies to help me be successful for my interview. I think that this could help me in the future when I apply for a real job because I already had some experience.
What I learned in Business Day 2015 was how to be a great philanthropist and how to build stuff and a great entrepreneur. What I might take out of this experience is to have a good handshake and make good eye contact and make and have good posture for when I'm getting interviewed for a real job.
One thing that I learned from Business Day 2015 is how to be a leader. I have developed my skills as a leader by being the manager of Capitao-Tavares. I have led others to success in my company, and that is how being a manager is good. Also, I have helped members of my company to stay on task, and I have put up or shown my work to group members as models. That is how I am being a leader during Business Day 2015. I can use my newfound leadership in the future when I'm a professional soccer player to lead my soccer team to success. It is important to be an active participant in my team because if everybody does that, it will help my team move to success. That is how important to have leadership in our everyday lives.
One thing that I learned in Business Day is how to make a successful infographic. This will help me in the future because it is a way to display data, but it is also a way to show your work with pictures and words, which is easier to see than just a picture or words. One takeaway that I will remember is how to do a job interview, because when we first started we got into groups of 3 and then role played people that would be in a real life interview, like an interviewer and interviewee. Then we got feedback to show what you did good and what you need to work on to make it better. This will help me in the future because you have to do it in real life to get a job.
The most thing I've learned through this experience is that you have to, in able to move forward to get things done, you have to make sure you and your group members are on task at all times. And you have to step up as a leader so that you and your group will get stuff done on the deadline. One thing I'm taking away from this experience is that you have to make sure that all your stuff is done for able to you to move forward, and that you have to instead of bringing your group down, you have to bring them up.
One thing I most learned from Business Day 2015 was I learned how to work with my company and myself on how we can work together and make sure like we succeed on everything else. And if we do it together, it will work in the end, and make sure we do a good job, and to finish everything, to make sure that this Business Day will be the best one yet. The one thing I take away from learning experiences in Business Day 2015, I can use the teamwork I took for my company and use it to to make it better for my future, so I can work with other people in my company. So when I get older, I can use it for my future, so I can have more people to help me out and more people to support me. And never forget to, and if you ever need help, never forget to saying, there's no I in team.
One thing I learned from preparing for business day is that managing a team or a company is not easy. I learned that you have to communicate to your team to reach success, because if you don't communicate to each other, there is more room for misconceptions. And if there are more room for misconceptions in your company, you will never be able to successfully work together as a team. One takeaway I received from Business Day 2015 was that you cannot always do what you want. You must sometimes let go of the reins a bit. Not everyone will want to do what you want to do all the time. You must accept that fact that you can't always get what you want, and sometimes you'll find out that another's ideas were better in the first place.
I learned how to make an effective resume and a letter of intent, learning how to be organized with letters and graphs, such as working in finance. We had to do investment letters. One takeaway is making an effective resume when I apply for a job, so they will see that I have a professional resume. Also, being an entrepreneur with your group allows everyone to participate and allows them to find skills they never knew they had.
One thing in my position in finance, I learned how to make a financial tracking sheet. I learned a lot about Free the Children and the UN Conventions of the Rights of a Child. This enabled me to make my infograph in an effective way.
I learned to make collaborative deadlines such as infographics, essays, resumes, and things like that. This will be important because I'll need it for the rest of my life. A takeaway that I have is the concept of deadlines on when I code. I'm not used to having deadlines for when I code, but this concept will be extremely helpful for my future because I'm going to be a game maker. These are the reasons why I think that this takeaway is extremely important.
I think that collaborating with other members of my team to get work done and move forward is a good experience. I also learned that, as well as others in my team, how to create a solid essay. Finally, I know how to create various different things like creating a resume, analyzing, and even coding. One thing I can take away is that when I'm older, I should have a bit of an easier time getting my own job because I would have done it on or close to business day.
I learned that being an entrepreneur is a great experience because it will help me in my near future. Also, it helps me by counting money, learning how to make a resume and infographic. What I'm going to take away from this experience is when I grow up and get a job.
In preparation for Business Day, I have learned about Free the Children and the UN Conventions, as well as creating different letters such as an investment letter and a donation request letter. I have also learned good communication skills and phone etiquette. One takeaway from Business Day is being able to create a letter of intent. These skills can help me in the future when I'm applying for a job. I will also take the responsibility and leadership skills that I've earned throughout the Business Day venture.
I learned that I am very good at making jingles for our team. I am also very creative in how I help design all of the arcade games. I believe that I would be a very good as a philanthropist because I think I would be very good at designing a company. I also learned how to communicate with everyone in my group and not be afraid to share my ideas with them. A takeaway for me would have to be all of the interviews because I did not think that we would have to actually do an interview with the teacher or principal. Another one would have to be how it was like a super real interview with the handshake, posture, and how we had to talk. This will help me in the future for when I go for an interview in the room. Yeah.
One thing I learned most about my learning experience in preparing for Business Day 2015 is what marketing and advertising do. I've learned like two groups are done with surveys. Marketing will have to do the analysis for it. Another thing I learned is that marketing needs to work on the phone script so the group can call companies. So that are some things that I learned preparing for Business Day. One takeaway from participating in Business Day is that I learned how to do business calls to other companies, and that is important because I can use that in the future.
I learned that collaborating with my group members is a fun and effective way to get work done. I also learned how to write an effective letter and an effective resume. One thing that I would take away from this is that I could use my building skills in my future job if it involves building. And I could also use my resume as an example for my future when I'm applying for a job.